All right, go for it.
All right. Hey, everyone. We are so happy that you are here, whether you're here right now or watching the recording. We are so glad that we are all connected. Welcome to our Team Empower call. This call is going to be about our top takeaways from Summit 2016. And it was pretty amazing. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. And the first person on my screen is Heather. So Heather, can you start?
Well, fantastic. There were lots of things that I enjoyed.
Let's just 1 second. Can everyone mute themselves if you're not talking? Or Lacey, you can mute everyone.
Yep, I got it. Okay, go.
And will you tell me if I'm not loud enough? Am I loud enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. So there were lots of things, but I just wanted to focus on storytelling. There was lots of talk about just telling your story and just being a storyteller because that connects more. That's how you become relatable to people. So here, there's some notes here, sorry. So I'm just gonna look at my notes, don't mind me. Everybody wants connection. We all want to be connected to each other, and by telling stories, that helps others relate to us and then eventually trust us. Somebody said that our story is our secret ingredient. So we don't want to, everybody hates when someone's trying to sell you something and they're telling you a whole bunch of facts about it. But when somebody tells you a story and how it relates to them, you're more likely to listen to what they have to say. So here, I think it was Chalene Johnson said, people connect with your mess. And I really liked that. However, she did say that you have to make sure that it's not, that you're telling the story for a purpose or a reason. Like, we just don't want to tell all of our mess all the time just because. It has to relate to our why or our vision or what we're trying to tell about ourselves. So we just need to make sure that it relates. So I guess that means that you also have to know what your vision is or what your why is or what you want people to connect with about you so that they'll want to join you on your journey. Everyone has 100 stories or 1,000 stories or more, and we probably have a ton of stories that happened just today. And that's kind of what I was thinking about, that I really want to focus on my everyday stories, because that's how you get to know people, is by everyday stupid little stories that happen. But if you just think about your day, at least this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start thinking about my day or my week and thinking about the things that happen and turn it into stories and see if I can, I don't know. Am I even making sense? I feel like I'm just blabbering. So anyway, that's what, and then the other thing that I really liked that Chalene said was that sometimes we have stories in our minds that happened, like maybe when we were younger, different perspective, and they're not logical. And so she was saying that we can rewrite our stories. And so I thought that was pretty powerful. Anyway, be a storyteller. That's what I got. Just be a storyteller.
Awesome. Oh, Melissa and Amber, can they hear us yet?
Yay, yes, we can.
Can you
hear us?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay. Are you on a different phone?
No, we're on the same phone. We tried iPads, phones, everything. It all worked out. It's good.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Okay, let's see. Next person in line is Erin. What were your top takeaways from Summit?
Hello. That was really good, Heather, by the way. I'm just writing that down again, what Chalene said about changing your story in the past. Okay. So the main thing, I think I told you guys this when I was there. First of all, my favorite part of Summit was just being with you all. So that was the biggest takeaway. But my kind of mission and the one PD thing, all my PD, but what's getting into my head is fail forward. Failure's okay. Be a failure. Like, keep failing. Which is a good message because I'm Emerald with my husband and one other coach, and she quit today. Ooh, that was like I just flipped you off. She quit. I just got an email at supper. Like, I had no idea. So I'm trying to keep this on. This is why we do PD, so you don't get like crazy. what was so here's just like 3 things I wrote. I liked that Summer said all in does not mean all day. And I need to remember that. Like I've been a little bit all day, and it's hard after Summit because like I literally want to work on this all day long. But hopefully we get to that point where we are fully invested and we're like all the way in, but we're not doing this all day long. And then it's right here. I had get good at telling your story too, Heather. Gary V said, this is in relation to his story, but be the wine guy, not the guy selling wine. And I like that clicked for me too. I know we all don't want to sell. None of us want to come off the selling, but I do want to be looked at as a resource and a person they're coming to for just health and fitness type deals. So my overall message of failing is good because it means you're doing something and you learn from it, and getting better at telling that story. And all in doesn't mean all day. Those are my main ones, maybe.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Erin. Okay, let's see. Stacy, you're next on my screen.
Hey there. So I'm a little unorganized, but I picked the best bits. First off, Erin, it's okay, because I know that you have some coaches like right there, and you have all month to make it happen before your rank would even change. So, I mean, even if you lose it, people lose it all the time. You're all right. You'll be okay. And I love you. All right. But also, you said something about what Summer said about not making this a full all-day thing. So I wrote that down too. She said, Beachbody is not 24/7. Allow Beachbody to fit into your lifestyle. So that was a key note that I wrote down. And then I don't remember what the names of these people were, but it was our first workshop after I came in, after we got off the phone. So I don't know who was saying it, but it was good stuff. One lady was talking about how she approaches the end of her challenge groups, and she gives them 4 options. So the 4 options would be A, continue with another round. B, change it up and get a different program. C, look into coaching and possibly like an apprenticeship with her in another group. And then D, bow out and come back later. Like she asks every single person in her group what they want to do next and then leads them in the direction that they answer with. So I think I like that a lot. And then the next person that talked after that lady was the guy who was talking about the habits of a CEO. And he said some really good things. Most of all, though, that I wrote down, and I'm going to start trying to remember as I post, is that it's important to start talking about friendship, freedom, fun, and purpose all as one. So I'm going to try to craft posts or just communications with a touch of friendship, freedom, fun, and purpose. And then I wrote down several notes at one of the general sessions when Carl came out with the shake weight and all those TV advertisements, like the Thigh Master and all that. That was really cool. He came out and basically the screen was showing all these like old products that people used to buy all the time. And like, what was her name? Suzanne Summers or whatever, and the Thigh Master with the one piece on. It was pretty awesome. But anyway, he had some good points. He said that people are used to being real disappointed when it comes to these type of products, and that basically they already know that quick fixes are a letdown, and that people might find something like spinning or something that works for them, but once they fail, they're afraid to start over. So he just basically kept going about why coaching is so important, and the need to basically express that the missing ingredient is you as a coach, so that the one thing that has been missing all this time with all these famous products is me. Like, I'm the one that's going to be able to help you get through this. And that I don't want you to buy, I want you to succeed. And I just love that. And then he also said that it's not just about starting, it's about seeing you all the way through. And this is a good segue into something I just listened to today from Gary Vaynerchuk. I just finished his book, which I highly recommend reading. The
Which
book
one?
called The Thank You Economy.
Oh yeah.
It's based in 2011, and he says at the very end of the book that all of the information is going to be obsolete by 2015. But he basically planned the future of social media, and a lot of it still applies to today, especially the end parts. I really loved it. But anyway, he talked about, so when Carl said, it's not just about starting, it's about seeing your customers all the way through their journey. Gary, at the end of his book, said something about how you're in the hospital and you're really sick, or you need a really risky surgery and you're there for a long time. Yeah, you appreciate the doctor for saving your life. You appreciate the need that you had for that doctor. But what you appreciate even more than that, and you talk about more and have like a lifelong just gratitude towards, are the people who are with you by your side during that entire time, which would be like the nurses. So he said, we tend to appreciate the people who are there to help us. The want, which would be correlated to the nurse, versus the need, which would be correlated to the doctor. Yeah, the doctor saved your life, but the nurse made it happen in a way that was tolerable to you, and you'd be forever grateful for that. And along with Gary, I just loved listening to Gary. I think I'm just going to start reading all the books he ever made, because I've been following him this whole week. As soon as we got out of that, his speaking, I basically put him, I wanted to see everything he posted at the very top of my feed, and I've been watching him all week, and he's awesome. But I love that he basically just said to be patient, have patience. It won't happen overnight. You're building friendships and connections with these people, and that in the end is going to pay off. So it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's probably it. There was one more thing I wrote down about the guy who was talking about the CEO opportunity. And he basically said at the CEO level, it's about presenting the business opportunity, but be sure not to lose sight of the products. So when you're building your empire, still think about the products and how they can help people. So basically just keep doing what you're doing. 4 vital behaviors. But he also said that CEOs sell 5 freedoms: location, time, finances, people, and purpose. And I really like that too. And that's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Stacy. Oh my gosh. It makes me so bummed that I lost my notes on the airplane. Like listening to all of you guys talk, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot that already. Like I wish I had my notes to reference. So frustrating. Okay, great, awesome takeaways. I need to follow Gary Vee too, because he's awesome. Okay, Jillian, you're next.
Okay. This has been a good reminder, because some things that like Erin and Stacy and Heather heard, I didn't hear. So like I can't remember now what Erin said, but I wrote it down. Anyway, so that this is a nice reminder. I like this. Okay, I'm talking about what Summer Tucker said. She said, "You are wonderfully made and deserve a life of significance." And that you need to find your success and what success looks like for you. Success doesn't look the same for everybody, but in this life of significance that you have, you need to find your own success and what that looks like. When I was doing PD yesterday, I'm reading this, John C. Maxwell, 15 Laws. And he says, it goes perfectly in line with what Summer was saying. He says, "I wish I could sit down with you, hear your story, and encourage you specifically in your journey. If you've had a difficult time and you don't feel good about yourself, I want to tell you that you do have value. You matter. Your life can change and you can make a difference, no matter what kind of background you have or where you come from. No matter what traumas you've suffered or mistakes you've made, you can learn and grow. You can become the person you have the potential to be. You just need to believe in yourself and get started. And every time you take a step, think a positive thought, make a good choice, practice a small discipline, you're moving one step closer. Just keep moving forward and keep believing. And another thing that Summer, so I just really love that. And I thought that went really well with what Summer was talking about, us being wonderfully made. And then when Summer finished talking, she talked for quite a bit about her spouse and how he wasn't all on board at first. And she says, she asked, how can I make my husband feel like he is wonderfully made? We want to let our customers know that they're wonderfully made. We want to let them know that we are there for them. We're not just trying to sell a product, but that we're their friend and we're trying to help them as people. But we can't forget who's in our life all day, every day, and our spouses and our kids, and that they are wonderfully made as well as we are. So anyway, that's been on my mind. How's that? Is that good?
That's perfect. Thank you. Those are great takeaways. Thanks for tying in your personal development too. It's amazing how once you start doing personal development, everything starts connecting together. If you guys noticed that. So before I give you my takeaways, Amber, welcome. I think this is your first call, right? We're so happy that you're here. Is it your first? I think so. No.
It cut out.
Whenever you're on.
It's okay. It's your first call, right, Amber?
Yes.
Okay. We're kind of fading in and out. Welcome. We're so excited that you're here. Okay. Can everyone hear me or am I in and out too?
You're starting to skip a little bit, but you're fine.
Everybody mute themselves. I think because lots of us are unmuted maybe.
I don't know how.
Lacey, can you mute everyone?
How are you?
There we go. Can you hear me now? Am I better now? Okay, cool. Okay, so I am so excited that we're doing this call because I have remembered a lot of things that I originally had in my notes and that I don't have anymore. I love what Heather talked about, and the thing that stood out to me is her phrase, Shalene's phrase, people connect with your mess before your success. So a lot of times, we'll post like our results or how we feel, but we forget to talk about how crappy we felt before. And that is what people connect with, you guys. And that's why we say, tell your story. Don't just tell people where you are now. Tell people how you felt, especially how you felt. And we talk about storytelling because I think posts do better when you type it and write it out as if you're telling a story, okay? Rather than just saying the facts or rather than saying like, how many of you feel kind of crappy? Instead of saying that, say, you know what? When I first started my journey, I was so uncomfortable in my skin. Or when I sat down at night with my package of Oreos, I felt so guilty, but I ate them anyway. Tying it back into your story rather than asking a general question of like, how many of you used to feel crappy? Or does that make sense what I'm saying? Tie it back into this is how I felt. Use I language. So people can say, you're not pointing fingers at people, but use I language and people can then relate to you a little bit better. So I love that phrase, people connect with your mess before they connect with your success. Something that Gary Vee said that I loved, I hope they recorded his speech so we can go back and listen to it. But he gave us all of his advice and then he said, you know what, I don't care. I will give you as much advice as possible because I know 99% of you will not do what I'm telling you to do. And that was kind of a smack in the face for me. I'm like, oh man, he's probably right. We're all sitting here listening to him and we're all like fired up and writing our notes, and then we leave and we do nothing about what he taught us. Or that can be related to anything with personal development or, anything you learn about the 4 vitals or anything you learn on this call, if you don't put that into action, it's pointless. And that's exactly what he was saying. He's saying, I will give you all the advice I can because I know the majority of people will not do what I'm telling you to do. And so my challenge to me and all of you is to not be the majority of people. When you're listening to people who know what they're talking about, apply it. Don't just be that 99% that nod and take notes and then do nothing about it. He also said he went and looked, once he knew he was coming to speak to us, he looked up some coaches, like not followed, but what's the word, Stacy, that you say all the time? Troll. Troll. Yeah, something with a troll. I don't know. He looked up a bunch of coaches to see what we're about. And he said the main reasons why coaches are not successful is because we're lazy. And that spoke volumes to me because you look at our platform and you look at the way the business is set up. And you guys, I am a firm believer that anybody can be successful in this business if they do their personal development, if they learn how to do what you're doing, and that you're patient and consistent. Because that's the second thing he said, is that you're lazy. Like, if you're not successful in this business, it's because you're lazy and because you're not patient. You've got to give it time. I see a lot of coaches come in and they're on fire for maybe a month or two, when they hit Success Club by all their warm market friends, and then crap, they have to start reconnecting, and then they're like, oh, I can't do this. This isn't for me. And yeah, I see that all the time. So be patient and don't be lazy. You've got to do your work. But like what Stacy said, that Summer said, you don't have to be in all day, which is important. And it's easy to be in all day with this job. And then you're going to just get burned out. So don't go in all day. Just go in focused, and then you'll get your work done if you go in focused and with a list. Okay, another note, something that I really loved. I don't know who said it, but they said, don't wait until you're ready to be ready. And I actually made a video of this for my challengers, because you look back and you see how many times have we all done that? Like, oh crap, I have 10% left. I'll start on Monday. Okay, I'm going to start that program on Monday. Or I'm going to start eating healthy next week. Okay, or I'm not going to jump into coaching until I have all of my ducks lined up in a row. But I love that she said, don't wait until you're ready to be ready. Just start now and fail yourself forward. You don't have to wait, because the more you fail, the more successful you're going to be, as long as you don't allow that failure to tie you down. Which is definitely a mold you have to break through. But once you break through that mold, that failure is okay, and that all it is a teacher for you, then you can go so much further. So don't wait until you're ready to be ready. That's something Lacey and I think that's something that's held us back in this business a lot, as far as putting together like coach training and coach basics and all of these different things, that we waited too long rather than putting it together and seeing it flop and then revising it. We thought it had to be perfect the first time. So yeah, put your things together, or do something knowing that you're probably going to fail at it, but that gives you the opportunity to revise and make it better and just be a better leader for your team and for your challengers. Let's see. Sean T talked about living in a glass house, and I really like that. And it just goes right along with telling your story and being real and genuine and authentic. And his whole point was, when you're living in a glass house, is what you're saying online what you're really doing? You want to be that transparent and that real. So as if you're living in a glass house. But at the same time, Shalene, when she was talking about telling your story, if you haven't become the victor of your story yet, if you still feel like a victim, it's not time to share that story yet. There are going to be parts of you that you're still working through, and you on social media, you want to be a force for good and positivity. And so until you are a victor of that part of your story, it's not time to share it. But once you've broken through and you come out on top, then it's time to open up and share that. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, just 2 more things. Sorry. Something Carl said about we are all CEOs of our own business, and he talked about what he does as a CEO and compared it to what we need to do as coaches. And just one portion of that is he said, if you see a problem, like for him, if he's walking into his office and if he sees like a piece of trash on the ground, he's not going to walk past it and expect someone else to pick it up and get rid of it. He said that he's a CEO. He is owning the problems in his business. So he doesn't step over that trash. He picks it up and he throws it away. So he said, don't step over a problem, fix it. So there are a lot of times that we kind of try to go around things that are more difficult, or we see problems coming, you know, if there's issues maybe with Facebook ads that are coming up, or who knows if this will move to a different social media platform, or there's going to be a lot of different problems that might arise in your business, but don't sidestep them or expect someone else to figure it out. Fix it, you know, and we'll all be here to fix it together, but just don't sidestep it. You're the CEO of your own business, so you need to solve problems. My biggest takeaway that I get every year, though, is how much I love Team Beachbody. You guys, everybody I met had a smile on their face. Everybody's happy. Everybody's positive. That doesn't mean lives are perfect, because they're not. But there's something about coming together, being united for a purpose, a good purpose. We're helping people. We're helping people get healthy, which then affects their children's lives and their neighbors and their communities. And it is just a powerful thing to be surrounded by positive, happy people. And I come away from this event feeling, wow, like I'm a part of something good and great. And that is what I've always wanted. I wanted to do something more. I wanted to be something more. And now I feel like I have a platform to do that with Team Beachbody, and that we're all a team. You know, we all share information so we can better help each other. And it's just an amazing thing. And first time that Lacey and I have gone with a team, and that's been amazing. That was for sure the best part. The first night that I met all of you guys was just like, there are no words. It was just incredible and awesome. And it's just something you can't explain either. I was trying to talk to my husband through it, and it's just, oh, I just love you guys so much. So anyways, wow, I just talked a whole lot. Lacey, what are your takeaways? Are you still here? Yeah, you are.
Yep. Okay. So I've loved everything that everyone has said. And it's just kind of like everyone has said, it's like that reminder, like, oh yeah, that was awesome. Oh yeah, I love that too. So a lot of the things that I wanted to share have already been shared. So, which means that's amazing. We're all on the same page. There's just a few things that really stood out to me and spoke to me. In the beginning, we went to an event before Summit started that was put on by Summer Tucker. And there was a man that came to speak, and it was a Green Beret. And something he talked about was leaving your tracks. And not just, here comes my grumpy 11-year-old. It's awesome. Hi, honey. Okay, so something he said is, you're not just here to get by, you're here to leave your tracks. And, you know, especially in our mom world, a lot of times we feel like we're in survival mode, trying to get everything done, everybody where they need to be. We're just trying to get by and keep everybody alive by the end of the day. But, you know, like he said, you aren't just here to get by, you're here to leave your tracks. And so he had us walk through an exercise where he had us sit down and pick somebody that's important in our lives. And he said, if you had passed away and this person was telling another person that doesn't know you about you, what would they say? What would you want them to say? And we had time to sit down and write what we would want shared about us. And it was a real emotional exercise for all of us to realize that we are making a difference in the little daily, everyday things. And so that was a challenge to me to really step back and think, I don't want to just go through my day surviving. I want to leave my tracks. And then Summer, to follow that up, she said, you guys don't leave your tracks in the sand, leave them in the mud. So in other words, don't just, not just temporary things that can blow away and they're gone, but something that's solid and something that will stay. And so that is something that you are doing. You're making a difference in other people's lives. You're helping them develop habits they couldn't otherwise develop and bless their families in ways that they couldn't otherwise bless their families. So I would challenge you to leave your tracks in the mud and not in the sand. Something else that was said is the fortune is in the follow-up, but you must know who to follow up with. And that really stood out to me, especially just recently. I had a girl just sign up to be a coach. Her name is Dawn, and I'm sure she'll be listening to this in a little bit. So hi, Dawn. She was in one of our first groups, and we continued to build a friendship. I mean, for probably 2 years now. And going through through her group, I was like, oh my goodness, she's going to be an amazing coach. She's going to knock it out of the park, do amazing. And it just wasn't time. And that's okay. But if I wouldn't have remembered her, if I wouldn't have taken time to develop a friendship with her and just check in with her every so often just to see how she was doing, because I genuinely wanted to know, it wouldn't have come to the point where she said, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready now to be a coach. And so, like they said, the fortune is in the follow-up, but you must know who to follow up with. So you need to keep track of the people that go through your groups so you can continue to develop those relationships, because at one time I thought I would just remember. You don't remember. I can't even remember my own kids' names half the time. So you're not going to remember who made it through your groups, who you connected with, who you developed a friendship with, who would be an incredible coach. You need to write it down so you can follow up with them down the road to see how they're doing, to see what's going on. Something else that was said is you are not a one-hit wonder. A lot of times coaches sometimes come in on fire and do amazing their first month or two, like Allie was saying, and then realize, oh, geez, it's going to be a lot of work, and give up. But they reminded us again, you're not a one-hit wonder. It's not a one-time thing. You can continue to create that success and repeat that success if you're willing to keep working and not just give up. Something else that Carl said is that, where is it? He said, you don't know how to be a CEO until you are a CEO. And, you know, you don't know what you're doing. You're never going to know what you're doing. It's the same with being a mom. I never know what I'm doing. Being a wife, I'm still learning. Being a coach, I have no clue what I'm doing. And that's okay. You're not going to figure it out until you're in the trenches, until you're doing it. And it's okay. Just like Carl said, you know, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I figure it out every day. And he is the CEO of this huge multi-million-dollar company, and he still doesn't know what he's doing. And we still have the faith in him to follow him. And that's the same with you, with your challengers. Even if you say, I have no clue, you know, I don't know the answer to that question, or I don't know how to best, you know, direct you, but I can find out. Let me do some research. It's okay to tell them that you don't know and that you'll look into it for them. I would much rather have someone tell me that they're not sure and they're doing research to help answer my question than just to wing it and try and pretend like they knew. Because that allows you to develop a relationship. They see that you're taking time to find answers for them. So you're not going to know how to coach, be a mom, be a wife, be a friend, be a sister, be whatever you are until you're actually doing it. Something else that Carl Zeichler said in response to how people are always saying, you know, the challenge packs are too expensive or Shakeology is too expensive. His response was, it's not expensive if you get results, which is so true. If once you hit those goals, all of a sudden that $140 challenge pack was nothing. It was pennies. It was priceless. And so we know that people can get results with these programs and with Shakeology and with what we're doing if they're willing to put in the work. And so like he said, it's not expensive if you get results. It's not. It's, you know, you would pay 10 times more to reach your goals if you're able to do it. And then something that Gary Vee said is, instead of trying to find what others are doing, look in the mirror and figure you out. And that connects back up to what Heather was saying in telling your story. Yeah, it's important to learn from other people, to learn from where they've been, and to learn from successful people. But that can only take you so far. Where the real success is going to be is looking at you and trying to figure you out so you can tell your story. And you understand where you've been, where you're going, and where you are now. And then lastly, something that Tracy Morrow said that I really liked. She's one of my favorite people. I really enjoy listening to her. She said, the world is changed by ordinary people. And so a lot of times we see all of these super successful coaches and think, oh, I could never be them. And you know what? You don't have to be them. You will still change the world. They're ordinary people too. So the world is changed by ordinary people. And something that Allie and I were talking about and that we came to the conclusion is, you know, we don't want to be number one coach in the company. That's just not fit for our lifestyle. And that's okay. But we do want to be important nobodies. It's okay to not have this name that's plastered across the stage, because you can still make a difference in people's lives. You can still make a difference in your family's life. It's okay to not be some superstar, because the world is changed by ordinary people, not by one individual who is a big name in a certain company. So like Allie said, it was incredible. I love Summit. Every year I learn something new, something different. Even though the same topics are talked about, the same type of information is shared, there's always something new that like pricks your heart and that opens your mind and directs you for that year. And being able to do it with our team by our side was incredible. So I hope that we have even more of you with us next year, because like Allie said, you really can't recreate it. It's a feeling, it's an energy. It's like going home. There's a big, huge family around you, and you know you're all in it. You're all connected to one purpose, and that is helping to change lives. So that was Summit in a nutshell. Al, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, that's pretty much it. Other than anyone who's listening to this who have not purchased their ticket for the Summit next year, if you are serious about building this business, or if you're going to be here a year from now, you've got to go. Like, you've got to go to Summit. So get your ticket if you haven't. I know a lot of you already have, but also it just helps you. You know, if you need something to push you forward, knowing that you've invested already, you can say, okay, you know what? I've already invested a year from now, so I'm going to work my butt off at least until then, you know, for 1 year, which is not that long, you guys. So that is all. We're so excited you took your time out of your day to be here. We really, really appreciate that. And of course, Melissa and Amber, we're glad that your device started working and that you're here. So unless anyone else has anything to say, we'll go ahead and I'm not seeing anybody. All right. Well, everyone have a good night.
Slow clap.
Slow clap. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.